Hello, friends. Mark Johnson here. Welcome back to another episode of the TRIRIGA War Room, where experts advise. Today's expert instructor is a return instructor for us. Their last video was one of the most highly watched videos on the channel, so I know everybody's been waiting for the second part. I sure have been. But before I introduce our next guest, let me just say, please do like the videos, subscribe to the channel. The number of subscribers is really the only hard indicator that we have that you all are liking the videos and you would like us to continue to make videos. So with that out of the way, let me go ahead and introduce our guest expert. It is none other than Bagirith Katkar, who did the first video on the TRIRIGA custom task. And today is part 2 of that series where he's going to continue on from where he left off and cover querying the TRIRIGA database and then outputting those results to the server log. So without further ado, let's get into the lesson.
Hello, this is Bagirith Katkar, TRIRIGA Solution Architect. And as a part of integration using TRIRIGA Business Connect and custom tasks, today's session, I'll help you to know how we can use this database connection and execute SQL query, how we can write a code, basic code to enable the database connection, and how we can write a simple SQL query. Okay, so before we start, let's have some recap. As a part of day one session, we understand how to write the hello world program and prerequisite to write a hello world program. First, Eclipse SDK. Then second, access to the application and platform. Third, it's not always mandatory that we need access to a platform, but access to application is mandatory. And valid jar files downloaded from the TRIRIGA resources or the IBM website. Okay. Now, as a part of day two session, same prerequisite. We'll be using a same prerequisite to write our program. We'll continue our code to connect the database and write simple query to connect to TRIRIGA tables. So only the additional change here is we need additional jar file that to be imported as a part of this exercise. Okay, so now let's proceed further. So as per our day one session, we can see we added created a project CST hello world demo, and then we created a package com.trailer custom, and we added a Java class which is CST hello world demo, and then we have added that import classes from the reference library. Okay, then created this logger variable to log our output message into server.xml, and try and catch block where try is used to execute our business logic, and catch block to enter the exceptions if there are any. Okay, let's proceed as a part of step one for day two session to connect with the database and execute simple query. As a part prerequisite, we should add the reference jar file. Again, to add that reference file, right click on the project, build path, configure build path, go to libraries, add external jar files, and select that JDBC for DB2. If you have the Oracle database, select JDBC for Oracle. If you have SQL, select JDBC for SQL. So as my instance, the database is DB2 version. So I've downloaded jar file which is used for JDBC for DB2. Double click on apply, close. That JDBC for DB2 will be added here. Okay. So in the second step, try to import all the classes which are useful to connect to database. So I'll import connection, statement class, request, result set. These are the classes from the reference jar. Okay. So to import that, we'll use java connection, then statement, import result set, then import data source. Let's see, data source is there. Okay, data source is not there. Java X. Yep. So I did important jar files, classes that used to connect to database. Okay. So now, like we have execute method, let's create another method, which is the private has static connection variable that get from the method like get database pull from. Okay, let's create that one more method. So this is my private. So this is a connection class, method name get db connection pull. Okay. And let's create a connection object. So this will be my null connection first. And then, as I said in last session, whenever you want to write any logic, we should have a try and catch block. This is mandatory. Okay. So in Java, all business logic will be written in try and all exceptional will be written in catch. Okay. So now my try block is ready. So let's initialize the context first. Context. So when you add that initial context, you can see initial context will be added here. Okay. And then let's call data source is equal to data source ctx. So the variable which we have created object context object get what's the meta name lookup. Okay, so lookup. So what where we can check that connection string that we have to pass here. So we know that either we can create connection string and pass it here, or we can use the local JNDI which is created Java JDBC data source connection, which use locally inside the TRIRIGA. While installing TRIRIGA create his own data source connection string. We'll call here. So how to call that? JDBC local data source hyphen hyphen data. So this is the JDBC JDR URL. I'll just confirm if this is correct or not. I'll just copy paste JDBC local data source TRIRIGA hyphen data. So this is correct. Make sure this is correct. Then only your connection will establish. Otherwise, there will be exception. Yes, correct. I have passed the database connection string. Here I have not passed anything, any user ID password. So whenever you import this code, custom class will refer this data source, and this will pull out the connection from here and it will establish the connection. So that's the beauty. You don't need to pass user ID password here. So once we have the connection, let's call out our connection variable ps dot get connection. Here the connection will get open, and then any exceptions are there, please call out the exception. call this method name here. We'll get to know, okay, this exception occurs in which method. So I'm done with this connection. Now I'm getting this error because I have not called this get db connection full anywhere. That's why I'm getting error message. So let's call this. So now I will create another variable, another method, which is get data, which is a void method. So again, this is private void get details. Then let's create these three variables, which are connection, statement, and result set. Connection, statement, empty, empty, and result set. Result set is equal. Okay, I did it. We have not utilized this. That's why we are getting a warning message. Again, now anything you want to write any business logic, we should have try and catch. This is my always the first step. And any issue here in the we can write exception message here. So this method is get details. So let's add exception occurs in this method like this. Now let's call out the connection. Connection is equal to. Now I want to call this connection here. So how I can call get db connection? You can see that. And so this way you can see any connection we have called here. Statement equal to connection create statement. Here we have a connect statement. Let's have the statement created here and pass that statement here. Okay. So rs statement dot get result or execute query. So let's search where I want to execute the query. Execute query. And here we can pass our actual SQL query. Which can be select from. Now for this I need admin console access. So you can go admin console access or database SQL developer where you have connection. So I have admin console access database query. And here I will write count e underscore run this query. So how much count? 304 contracts are there. So let's copy this query and paste here. I've added this one. Now, so now we have added this one, and I want to display the total count. So what I can do, I can here I will write query out, okay, which is total count, and I will pass rs dot get statement get string. So let's pass this one, and let's keep it here. Okay, and everything is done. So let's say, is there any exceptions? So what is taking, this method must return a result of type connection. Okay, so we have not returned this connection, that's why. So we should pass some connections here, return that connection. Return. Sorry, this has to be inside this particular method. Yep, so it is gone now, and I can see no, we don't have any errors here. So let's recap what we did. So we added all the mandatory required classes: connection, statement, result set, result metadata, then context, initial context, and data source. And then we created first method to enable the database connection. And then we created another method to get the details where we have executed the query. Now, everything is done, but we are not calling these methods. That's why you can see the warning message. If we imported this Java class and if we execute, then we'll get only this output. Hello world try block, hello world method end, hello world start. But I want to execute this method. So how I can execute this method? To execute this, you can call out get details. That's it. Okay. And then you just type A2 database. Start. That's it. We are done with this. So my next step, as I said in previous session, once you are done with the logic, no error message, export this jar file, click the jar file. Next, if the jar file which you already exported is that file name is same, don't worry, you just keep the same file, or if you want to change, you can change it. Okay, that's fine. But I don't want to change it because all my class loader contains the same jar file names. So click on next, and this will ask you to replace or overwrite. Yes, I want to replace, or I want to overwrite. Yes, I want to overwrite. Click on yes. Okay, that's it. This is my Java code. As a next step, I'll go to the application. As I said, go to tools, then system setup, and search the class loader. So in the class loader, search our CST hello world demo class loader name. And inside that, whatever resource is there, now you don't need to add here. Okay, so there is another way. Instead of creating new class loader and all, we can update the resource files directly. Okay, to update a resource file, either you can click here, open the resource file, update the jar file here, or there is another way. Instead of opening class loader, you can go here in the system setup, search the resource file. So resource files are here, and search that resource file name, which is cst hello world. So let's search where is our cst hello world. Yep, here we can see. Open that. So you don't need to open class loader and update anything. So let's download the backup first. Backup your cst hello world which is written previously, so that you will not lose any code if something is wrong, and import your updated jar file. Yep, that's very easy step to complete this exercise. Now we already wrote synchronous overflow that call on the integration object where execute button is there. Now the next option here is roll all the error logs first so that we can see the output. So I'll roll the server.log file, click once, and go to integration object. Here, click on integration and integration object. You can open any draft integration object because we are not executing out of the box method which trigger actual integration. We added sample button which trigger only our synchronous overflow, which we have created in previous session. Let's wait to load the data. Okay, so let's go to tools. Sorry, my application was down, so I have restarted again. Let's go to integration object. So to go to system setup and search integration, and here integration object is there. Open integration object. And let's wait these records to be here. Okay, then open one of the record. Yes, I can see my execute Java core method here. Before that, let's roll back all our server log files. Okay, done. Now let's go here and execute the Java code. Done. Let's see the overflow instance is generated. Okay, done. You can see my overflow is executed here just now. Okay, let's see, is there any error? Completed. I can see the completed status. Good. So now let's go to error log. Now click on error log. Here, come on the server log and download the server log file to see the output. So we have wrote that query. We have wrote this query here. Select in this, and this is giving me 302 contracts. The TRIRIGA. Okay, so I can say execute method start, try block, then this is the connection start. Okay, so there is issue invalid column index, and this is, so it means something is wrong in this code. Okay, so you can see when I executed this code, this is a wrong index we have passed. So let's see what is the code that we have to pass. How is that get 1? Okay, so index will start from 1. So there has to be at least one column. So I have added 0 here. So this is a mistake I did where I can see error log file. Like I'm not getting per correct syntax. So this is a good learning here. So now I can see I can replace earlier I passed 0 here as index, but when you can see 0 means uh, it's the incorrect query. Here at least one column is there, right? So we should pass at least more than one. So I can pass this again, do the same step. So we have updated this code, click on export, Java file, select these two files, make sure you will not select any other option, select only this export file and then click on next, finish. This will replace my existing jar file. Now let's go back to the application and update our jar file again into resource. Let's go to system setup, system, and see where we have resources. Here click on resources, search our CST file, CST hello world resource file, and update that. So we already took a backup, so no need to take a backup again. We'll import that updated jar file here directly. Okay, done. Now let's execute the code again. Let's go to General tab and click on Execute Java Code. See the workflow is executed again. That synchronous workflow which we have created. And from where we are calling that custom task. I think not yet called. Let's click on Continue. Let's properly click here, Execute Java Code. Yep. So now second time also is we called. Now let's see our admin console error log server.log. Let's download that log again. Okay. Okay. So here we are getting execute method because we have opened that connection try and we have not closed that connection. So always make sure we should have write the code here while the record present, then only we have to write this code. Okay, rs dot next. Their data is there, then only you can write this code, else don't write this code. Is there anything missing here? Okay, so let's execute this. Again, next. Done. Okay. Let's see our resource file. I think that. Let's go here again. So I have already there in the system resource. Let's upload our jar file here. And click on OK. 7 close. Yep. And then go to error log and just roll back all the logs so that we'll get only the code which we want to see, the output which we want to see. Let's go to general tab and execute the code again. Let's wait to load the form properly. Done. Click on workflow is done. See the workflow is executed again. Yes, done. So let's go to our admin console and download the server log to see the output. Yep. So now I can see total 304 records and without any error. So this way you can see, even if you want to compare the result, go to database query and run this query here. So we have 304 here and we have output 304 record. So this way we are able to establish the connection without passing user ID password, and we have executed simple query which has a count of real estate records present in TRIRIGA. So we have not added any filter. So once we add a where status is equal to active or retire, we'll get more outputs like that. This way we can pass the data only active real estate record. Okay, that's it from my side. Thank you. Next session we'll see in details about other integration methods. Thank you.